This program is made possible by generous support from China City, with locations in Oak Harbor, Freeland, and Mill Creek, Washington, as well as these local businesses.
I come from a very large family. There were 11 of us kids, and I'm second oldest. So that meant I helped our mother out lots, and from an early age. One summer when I was 16, I was in charge of the house and at least 5 siblings all day long while my mother was off doing some interesting artistic activity. The house was cleaned, lunch was finished, and the kids were outside in the backyard playing while I folded laundry. My sweet 6-year-old brother came running into the house to get a ball and left a trail of mud everywhere. All my work for nothing. And what would happen when my parents came home? Frustrated, I snapped and yelled some angry, unkind thing at him. He ran down the hall and into a bedroom and cowered in a corner of the bunk bed there. I ran in after him, full of rage, my arm raised, ready to hit him. And suddenly, my arm was stilled. I remember looking at it and saying to myself, I don't want to do this. I turned around slowly, walked out of the room. While I was raised in an environment where violence and shaming were common, that day I began a lifelong quest to learn alternative ways to think and to behave. I was very unhappy with the world that had formed me and wanted a different world around me, one that was respectful, filled with patience, understanding, and lots of healthy humor. Even as a teen, I sensed that I had to learn different or I would do what I knew, and I definitely didn't want to do that. Well, my learning came slowly, and my missteps were many. But I was helped by a growing determination, many caring people, and by my innate curiosity, a DNA gift from my mother. Well, life proceeded. College, marriage, motherhood, volunteering, employment. I inhaled new concepts and ideas, incorporating them as I could in my world. Along the way, I made wonderful friends who affirmed, validated, and encouraged me. With missions big enough to challenge us to be more, we stretched our capabilities. We did great work together and had lots of fun. I read in a business journal, the word enthusiasm comes from the Greek, entheos, literally meaning the Spirit of God within. More than being excited or engaged, entheos invites us into the deep mystery of how the divine shines out from within each of us. Entheos fuels and embraces compassion, patience, understanding, and even curiosity. And all that got me to wondering, what was I really enthused about? In my late 30s, I attended a day-long workshop featuring Scott Peck, the author of The Road Less Traveled and People of the Lie. There at that workshop, Peck introduced his newest book, A World Waiting to be Born, about the challenge and opportunity of building community. Peck defined community very carefully, where it is safe for us to be who we are and become whom we have the potential to be. That was it. I was really enthused about building community, welcoming everyone, and helping to liberate potential. But how? Well, I took an unusual path. I earned a master's degree in pastoral ministry with the intention of incorporating the heart of ministry into building community in the workplace. The essence of ministry is in this one humble and unexpected question: will you help me? That became my mantra for connecting with people, getting to know them, and inviting them to be a participant in something bigger than the task or project immediately in front of them. Goals and mission focused our work, and together we built community based on authentic, caring relationships that helped each of us achieve pretty significant goals while we were reaching and stretching to be more, the way that each one of us wanted to be. And life proceeded. Some years later, my husband and I, as new empty nesters, left well-established lives in Salt Lake City for the grand adventure of living on Whidbey Island. Just months after being here, my world fractured with the sudden and tragic deaths of my youngest sister and her 5-year-old daughter. Everyday tasks of work and building our house distracted me often from thinking about the horrible truth. My sister killed her child and then herself. I wept and raged again at the harshness, judgmentalism, and violence so interwoven in my family and youth. Alicia was smart, interesting, hardworking, and clearly deeply troubled. But to choose death, and not just for herself, what was wrong? Grief stripped away my inner shield. Out of the depths rose specters of verbal humiliations familiar from my past. You're just no goddamn good. Speak faster or I'll know you're thinking up lies. Will you stop being such a lazy, spoiled brat? I struggle to remember that I matter, not just my achievements. The dark night of my soul lasted for months. On well-practiced and emotionally controlled autopilot, I was cheerful and productive by day, but at night, or when tired, I volleyed between a desolate apathy and reacting to any insult, real or perceived. As the coming of spring brought more sunlight to Whidbey, a writing workshop exercise shone a candle in my personal darkness. Choose an article of clothing that you're wearing and write about it for 5 minutes. I looked at this scarf draped across my shoulders and wrote about my relationship with the sister who gave it to me. The instructor strongly encouraged me to pursue that theme. Rereading my passage later, I thought of my many scarves and the people and circumstance connected to each one. In my closet, I touched them individually, remembering specifics, kind acts, encouragements, unexpected opportunities, places where I'd learned. Deep grief became deep gratitude. My scarves, colorful, practical, feminine, and fun, are the landmarks and intersections on my journey toward healing and wholeness. They link me still with the family, friends, co-workers, and projects that helped me become who I am. Wonderful people enfolded me with loving acceptance and helped to create around me the world I so hungered for. They are the community that built me and inspired in me a commitment to build community for all of us. And that brings me to this evening and a request I make to each of you. Wherever you are in your life, will you help create a world that lets people soar? Will you help build that kind of community? Thank you.